underdog, the rise from zero to the unsung hero of British manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, I need to tell you more about Alexander Dennis. It's a giant in the bus and coach manufacturing world, but it goes about its day in a modest, humble, yet doggedly determined fashion. This is an inspiring story about a company that's been on the brink of disaster, pulled itself back, gone an alternative route, and is now changing the lives of millions of people across the world. So tonight, I'd like to describe a brief history about Alexander Dennis and how it's come to be, the turnaround, and how I believe it's impacting the world over. Let me take you back to January the 1st in 2001, when Transbus International was formed. It's the amalgamation of three companies: Dennis, a chassis manufacturer in Guildford; Alexander's, a coach builders in Falkirk; and Plaxton's, a coach builder in Scarborough. It seemed to be the perfect trio. But after just 3 years of trading as Transbus, sales were falling, costs were running the business into the ground, and in March 2004, the business was in administration. Thousands of jobs were set to become extinct, and it was just going to be another British manufacturer to go to the wall. Then, a consortium of business entrepreneurs came along a couple of months later. Led by Noble Grosser, merchant bankers, there was also Sir Brian Souter of Stagecoach, Anne Gloag, Bank of Scotland, and Sir David Murray, chairman of Rangers at the time. They acquired a major part of the business Transbus, but this didn't include Plaxton's as it was sold off during administration. Hence Alexander Dennis as we know it. In 2005, the business had rubber back on the road and it gained some healthy orders in the UK market. But it was 2007 when something really special happened. The entrepreneurs went out and tried to find a leader, somebody who would take on this business by the skin of the neck. And so they went out, they reached out to a guy who they believed could shake things up, because the business had been passed from pillar to post with no real ownership. They knew it was going to take a real force of character to turn this bus around. And that's exactly what they got when they appointed Colin Robertson as the chief executive in 2007. When Colin came into the business for this turnaround, he admittedly ripped it apart. He took it back to basics and built from the ground up. He bought back Plaxton's, so the three were together again. And then he started working on the hearts and minds of the employees, because that's what's so special in every good business. He enforced engineering excellence, instilled some passion, and we were on the road again. As any good business leader does, he instilled a vision. He had some great people around him, individuals who were passionate, committed, and knowledgeable about their part of the business. And as the good leader does, he gives them a bigger picture to believe in and to drive towards. So now the company has a mission: to become the world leader in buses, coaches, and support services. And by God, we're on our way. Another good thing that this leader did for the company was to the bottom line, much to the shareholders' delight and in much need. As you can see, back in 2007, domestic growth strengthened as international growth on the green bar started to taper away, but it was all in good hands because it meant we had time to grow and focus on the home market. Then the second tier of the strategy was to go full steam ahead in the international front. And with a vehicle already designed and engineered, it made sense to go into right-hand drive markets such as Malaysia, New Zealand, and as Kit knows, Hong Kong. So then you'll see that the growth in the company has catapulted into profitable territory. And I believe that it's this international growth that will really lead the business forward in years to come. another very important cog in this well-oiled wheel, the engineers. They're innovative, they're inquisitive, and they were put to task to come up with some really good-looking buses, which is quite hard to do, making buses sexy. But they did. They came up with these 21st century dream machines. And it's really the engineers who've put Alexander Dennis at the front of the pack when it comes to hybrid, full electric, fuel-efficient technologies. This slide shows some of their handiwork. 2006, the buses, and the dream machines lining our streets today. Don't they look fantastic? In a nutshell, it was passion, innovation, and a bloody lot of elbow grease and hard work that led to this monumental turnaround in the business. Today, Alexander Dennis is the leader in Europe when it comes to bus and coach manufacturing, and they're on target to achieve £1 billion worth of profitable sales by 2020. Incredible. So now, why is it life-changing? Why does any of this matter? Well, just a couple of examples. It's life-changing for the 2,200 employees across the globe because they're in work. They're earning above average wages, they can take their family on holiday, and of course they can pay to come to Toastmasters. Earning a £602 million turnover in 2015 alone means that Alexander Dennis is helping to line the government's pocket, fair to say. And with 25,000 vehicles in operation across the world, it means that there's millions of passenger journeys going from A to B every year because of these fantastic vehicles. If we take the isolated example of concessionary journeys, alone last year there was 5.1 billion bus journeys in the whole of the UK, and 9.8 million of them were for concessionary passes. Now for me, my view is this is life-changing because it gives these elderly people a safe, reliable, flexible mode of transport from towns to cities, a feeling of independence, integrity, without having to rely on others. They can be where they want, when they want. And this business is life-changing for me because as a graduate fresh out of university, the insight, the leadership, the guidance that I've been exposed to in the last 10 months or so has been invaluable. I've been exposed to so much that I never even knew existed until now. So the next time you see one of these beauties lining the streets of Glasgow, you'll know there's more to life than meets the eye. There's greatness behind the small badge of Alexander Dennis, and it's always good to know that the beating heart is still alive in the British manufacturing industry. There is a bigger picture here. When you're in administration in your own life, the odds are against you. You can pick yourself up, be reliable, get good people around you, give life everything you've got. Colin will be the first to tell you that Alexander Dennis wasn't and still isn't without its challenges, so it's okay if the struggle is real. ADL is an example, just one example, of a company out there doing great things. So stop, look around you, ask questions, be inquisitive, because you'll often find there's more to life than meets the eye. Thank you.